And welcome back. What an interesting conversation here we're having on duty and honor, how ministries work. If you didn't know, now you know, because we've got the best of the best of the best here. And I tell you, they serve their time with a lot of pride. We're asking, what advice would they have to the present crop of CSs and PSs? Prof, let's start with you. What do you think? Would you have any advice at all? I mean, when you look at the landscape of CSs and PSs?
I think the first thing is that the people who are selected must be able to contribute something for that ministry. You must know the ministry fairly well. But even then, you don't know everything. There are technical people, specialists, like evaluating projects and what have you, to ensure that the government is not cheated, paying money which is not supposed to be done, or there is money being stolen every time.
Yeah.
So you must work with the people who are already good. They must be selected because of their honesty. And you must clearly say that you don't want corruption. Because for me, when I was appointed at one of the biggest ministries in terms of CEOs, it was a big ministry. And we sat with them and I told them, my first meeting with them, we are here to work. We are here to work. And if you don't work, I will shout about you. If I don't work, shout against me. Let's not put respect here. If you find me doing a monkey business, don't show respect for that. Because if I see you doing it, I will announce it to the whole world. That was my first meeting. I will not write a letter to you and note here that do this X, Y, Z. And I don't expect you to write letters for your cousin, for your brother, about jobs. Everything must be out there, that everybody can see what is happening. So that was the first thing that I did, to tell them, if you do that, don't respect my name as a PS. Broadcast it, and I'm ready to quit. Because if I see you misbehaving, I will also not stop. And when I finished after 5 years, I told them, have I written any note to you that employs so and so? Have I written any note to you these 5 years for that you must not do this and this, or you must give something to me or somebody else? Nobody said anything. I told you, that's what I promised 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I want you to confirm that I will not come and told you employ so and so, you are cousin.
Okay.
This and this.
Cicely, how about you? Advice, you see the current crop.
Well, to be fair, the PSs and CSs find themselves in a huge responsibility, carrying a huge responsibility. No template, no training, no school. Today, tomorrow, go start running a ministry. It is good to be very happy and excited about it. But I think it is fair for you to know it is a privilege. You are actually being called to serve, not to serve yourself. Number one. Number two, the issue of you being the head of a department, head of a ministry, says that you need to be able to carry everybody along. We are in the era of leading through people, and people want to feel engaged. The leader who is going to win in this era is one who puts people first and has learned how to listen. Yeah. Listen, talk less. Listen, pick opinions. Put them in a formula that is a win-win for everybody. People want to feel engaged. Recall, I have talked in this station, we are going to be facing an intergenerational challenge unless we can engage the millennials and unless we can make them feel they are part of the innovative, creative, younger people that we are going to be handing over the baton to. Yeah. They're asking to be listened to. They're asking to be allowed to interact with you. And when my stint as a minister for youth allowed me to be in this free spirit space where they have no business calling me honorable minister. You know? Yeah. Yeah. You must be at that level to be able to suck the creativity out of them. So I think, again, the issue of ego, if we also come down on that, it's a powerful space to have a flag 20 of you only, the whole country, it's a good place to be in. But you know, you're being reminded you're there as a servant of the people. And I think that that's the message the president had yesterday. Now, there is also a lot of help around these days, and I've been participating in a program, a ministerial leadership program, where we take through ministers from the continent, just sharing experiences and helping them and allowing them to tap into resources where they can do self-development, where they can be able to go and understand themselves in terms of self-awareness. What are the people that you're leading looking for? I think there's help out there. Feel vulnerable, even though you're the minister, even though you're the PS, even though you're the director. Feel vulnerable to get yourself either a leadership coach who has done it, made mistakes. I'm not here to say we didn't make mistakes. There were mistakes we made. But get help. It becomes more comfortable for you because you also want to have a balanced life and you want to deliver and you want to enjoy delivering. So there is help if you want to feel vulnerable. But a lot of the time, you know, when you're called, you're running that big office, you must know everything. No, feel comfortable not knowing everything. You don't have to know everything. That's why you're allowed to have the technical people around you, a PA who is knowledgeable, an advisor who is knowledgeable, a colleague. I remember going to a couple of colleagues when I felt like the world was just crashing on my shoulders and say, is your space the same way? And they said, it's worse, actually. You know? So, you know, that network, that peer encouragement, it just makes you move forward. But importantly, Kenyans are waiting to be served and served with quality services. And some of us who are out here will continue to watch and criticize because that's why we are here. But we'll also continue to offer help if it is needed. As to whether it will ever be needed is a different conversation. But we'll use this, your platform, and other platforms, you know, because we say when you come into leadership, part of your job description is to be open to be criticized. That was the summary description of a leader in the public sector.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's a place you can remain and walk with your shoulder and neck high 10 years from now if you do a good job. Because, you know, I mean, we are going back into 2027. And if you do a clean job, who is going to outsmart you? You'll still be there. And 10 years down the line, you walk with your shoulders high. We celebrate you. And you walk like I do on the streets of Biashara Street. And, you know.
Yeah, you don't look over your shoulders or anything. You're smiling.
And I go to Java.
Which one? What's your favorite?
Any, actually, depending on where I am.
ABC?
Any idea?
Giri,
Any.
Value Arcade? Oh.
Any. I'm flexible like that. Any.
Java needs to pay us for the
That's where I'm mentoring the young people. Yes.
Engineer?
Yeah, I can say that, you know, government can be complex, but I said it's not a space science. And the government, there is only process, procedures, rules, and regulations. And you got all this. You heard the president saying that people are not reading. There are things, there are instruments in the government which helps you do that. There is code of regulations. There are financial regulations. You have the procurement rules. You have the, in fact, those three major ones. You go through that one, and there are no people who knows them than the technocrat in that ministry. In the areas you are. So you have to exploit their knowledge and bring it out. Bring them, carry them along with you, positively and enthusiastically. Don't just rubbish them because you have been told that this public servant, they are lazy, they are whatnot. You know, there are a lot of things which goes around public. Until you join in, and Cicely, you'll believe me, that when you joined in, you find that there are talented people inside there which can help you achieve your policy.
And they make you
they
look
know
good.
it. And if you want to do a policy, you can't do a policy outside those without the help of those technocrats. They are there. And they'll respect you when you carry them along with you. And they know you are for the common good of the Kenyans. But if they know that you are just common good for yourself, then they'll sit back and watch you.
And watch you fail.
And watch you fail. And undermine you if possible. And again, you know, they say, under this democratic government, they say, you'll come and you'll go. I'll still be here. I'll still be here.
Utaniwacha tu hapa.
Utaniwacha tu hapa. So it's also happened. So you have to be very careful on that. And again, you don't come there You know, some people come into public service at that level, maybe to count some coins. Please, if you come there for counting coins, you are in a different, or you are in a wrong space, because there are those things which are said, procedure, process, rules and regulations will catch up with you.
Very soon.
Say, do you agree?
I can actually conclude by saying a president or the head of state of a country has got what we call a helicopter view of the whole country. He is looking at what is happening from Mandera to Kwale, from Isabania to Turkana. He is looking at the whole country. And because a government is a system, it's just like our body. It is divided into various segments or various sectors. When now the president allocates you that certain area, do it to your best so that you don't have, the president does not have to keep on looking at what you are doing. So, and the best thing is what all these ladies and gentlemen have expressed. Engage the people, work together as a team, make sure that if one sector is not performing, the whole country will feel it. If, for example, there is a problem in the security sector, the whole country will be paralyzed and there will be no economic activity. So when you are given a certain area, whether you are a PS, which now they head what we call state departments, make sure that that state department is contributing a lot to the whole manifesto of the government. So, give the president time so that he can concentrate on other important issues, and you yourself, you deal. If the president is looking at the whole country, why are you not able just to look at a certain department or a ministry? So do your best. Yeah.
What if the president is a micromanager?
Yeah. He should not be a micromanager. The ministers should do their job so well such that he does not have time to micromanage them, because he's getting positive results from them always.
I like that. I like that. Kibaki did a lot of that, huh?
Yeah.
Delegation. Let's go to the magic wall, folks. Let's see the feedback, which is coming in very thick and very fast. Thank you for your feedbacks, folks. Okello Malimu says, ask the awesome foursome. Oh, okay, now you're the awesome foursome. Nice. Number one, what are their views on CAS positions? Should it exist? If so, what roles should CASs play? And two, with benefit of hindsight, is it advisable for a professional to resign from a lucrative job in order to take up a presidential appointment? Okay, Sicily, let's go first. CASs.
Well, given that the Constitution has curtailed the numbers of ministers or CSs, I think it's fair for CASs to be in place, to be able to deputize effectively, especially when it comes to political and public speak. But it must be clear the pecking order, so that you don't have two ministers or one assuming, you're the same level, the pecking order. But I think they have an important role to play because...
but not 50 of them, right?
Not 50 of them, really. I mean, not 50 of them because, if the departments are 22, the Constitution envisages 22, you can break it in between the ministries. Surely, I think 1 for 1, a ratio of 1 to 1, will work just fine.
So, Tochi, what do you have to say with that?
I think for the case of the CAS, okay, though they were there during Uhuru's time,
yes,
but I can actually say, confidently say that Uhuru was very lucky because they were not challenged. But now when they were challenged in the court declared that they are not constitutional. However, the BBI had a place for them as assistant ministers. So if we feel we need to introduce them, then we need to look at the issues, we need to look at the limitations which are there in the Constitution. Yeah.
Prof, let me ask you this one. Maybe this didn't apply to you, but, is it advisable for a professional to resign from a lucrative job? I'm sure they didn't pay you that much at the university, but...
Yeah, I think you feel satisfaction that you were able to create something. Like I remember our struggle with creating the Safaricom. There were many people who are not very keen about it, and merging a poster and whatever.
Yes.
They were very much opposed to it, especially when you are bringing in foreigners. So those have been game changers.
Definitely.
And it is very important that people like my friend who went to become an ambassador, the guy from Kisii,
Bitange
Ndemo. Demo was a fantastic fellow in the ministry, in that docket. I feel very sad that he was removed like that because he brought the cable, undersea cable, for the shortest time period anywhere in the world.
And Kansas City.
Wow. Wow. And Kansas City.
And Kansas City.
Well, he was removed before he was able to make an impact. But there's a need to tap some of those people with huge talent.
Yes.
For me, I thought maybe being taken to be an ambassador, where normally they take a lot of time waiting for dignitaries at the airport.
It's a waste.
It's a waste.
Okay, Babu Michael says, on lateness, I think the president was so lenient to those CSs who were late coming to the signing of the performance contract event the other day. He should have called them up because it truly shows high level of incompetence with all the chase cars and everything. Sissy, that's what you were saying earlier on, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they had no excuse.
They didn't have an excuse,
Gure Ngati says, former CS Kariuki is bright and knowledgeable. Maybe she can be switched with the State House latecomers. Wah, wah, wah. Mr. President, food for thought. All right.
Thank you. Let Gure know that I'm enjoying what I'm doing on this side. And I think that the new kids on the block should be given a chance to dance the dance. They're on the floor.
Okay.
But thank you.
Kokushi Sweetie says, why wouldn't the president just appoint experts in the respective fields instead of expecting, quote unquote, clueless appointees to learn on the job? Yeah, I guess. Nyantika Chester says, mismatch of professionals has been there for a while. Of course, there are certain disciplines that have been infiltrated by all and sundry, but others simply require the right professionals to get the work done. True. Kiptala Noah says, can the panel shed light on the disciplinary powers of the CS/minister positions, given the recent instance where the health CS reportedly ordered the transfer of a senior police officer? Engineer, you're laughing. What do you think?
That is, there's something called statecraft diplomacy within the ministries. And I think they should go to that school. School of government should be able to give them much more how to do the interministerial kind of activities.
Yeah.
I think it is not in order for a CS to transfer another officer of another ministry.
Yes.
Obviously, even if you disagree with that officer, there are other channels of doing it quietly, but not saying I've transferred. No, that will be chaos in the government.
Right. Saitoti, you that?
What I can say about that is that when it comes to running ministries, there is always, when a new government is formed, there is always what is signed by the president of the executive order. The executive order is a very strong document because it says which dockets fall under your ministry, which parastatals, which agencies fall under your ministry. So that one should be followed to the letter so that we don't have, for example, a minister interfering with the operation of another ministry.
Right.
He should stick to the executive order, which is signed by the president.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he was completely out of order, huh? That one. Right?
I would say so.
One of the things is actually...
I would say so.
Yeah.
There's no... I mean, if something is wrong, it's wrong.
Right.
There's no way it was completely out of order.
Correct.
There was a way she could have handled that thing very well, even if she didn't want that OCS.
Yes.
But there is a way of how to convey that message to the right ministry or the right
channels.
And the right channels.
Yeah.
And that's how government works. I told you, process, procedure, rules and regulations.
Yeah.
She was
out of order.
I was saying that normally when new people are appointed, they are taken for a seminar.
Yeah, like orientation.
Orientation.
Correct.
And they need to go through every item, big and small, so that they know something small can create a lot of problem.
Clearly, some people missed that class, huh?
Yeah.
They missed it.
Yeah, they missed it.
Frank,
The class is still there.
Yeah?
It's something is not missing. The class is still there.
Yes.
And it's being offered at Kenya School of Government. There is LSDP, which they need to attend. There is strategic leadership, I think, which is being offered.
Tell them. They're listening. Tell them.
Yeah.
Tell them to attend.
The courses, the government is, the courses are still there.
They're there.
It's not closed. They did not miss it. There is a course being run by Kenya School of Government. And they need to attend that one.
And
It doesn't
seriously.
they don't just see that it is being attended by their staff, they cannot attend it. No. Some of your staff have got PhDs. You don't have.
There's a shortcut. There's a shortcut.
Yeah. So
I doubt that a minister will have 6 weeks to go and sit and listen, but there's a shortcut. Because there are abridged versions of the role of a minister articulated. Now, my turning point as a minister was in 2018, attending the Harvard Ministerial Leadership Program, just customized for ministers globally.
yes.
Now, I'm aware that some of the ministers today that were in yesterday's session will be attending that program, must be in September, in Harvard, I think 5 or 6 of them, because I'm still in touch with the faculty. You know, it's a 1-week condensed everything, and it gives you a network beyond even your colleagues here in the Kenyan cabinet, so that you are able to actually cross-check with Thailand and say, my colleague in health, Minister of Cuba responsible for health, or Minister in Thailand responsible for health, I'm facing this kind of situation in Kenya, health. How would you go around it? What are your ideas? So it helps with networking so that there is also peer learning. Because peer learning is what we also need for this level of leadership, as opposed to, again, sitting in class, as it were. So there is a shorter way, but the shortest way is also to cross-check with my colleague responsible for that other department. This is what I find myself facing, you know?
Yeah.
And this is what I think I need to be doing. What would be your advice? What would be your view? So you make your peers, because each one of us has an insight that could inform the decision that you finally take, as opposed to, you know, again, being on the podium, perhaps getting a bit excited and kind of, you know, giving an instruction, a sieve, which makes the government not look too good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good point. Very good point. Frank Orinda here says, JKLIVE today is very resourceful. I like the point about consultation with staff that would work within the ministry. This is a key factor, not only at the ministry level, but in all departments. Work chemistry is what leads to success or downfall. That's what you said.
Jeff, we're also being told we don't choose the people we come to work with. We are also being told if the leader is so self-aware, then they know how to respond. I don't have to like Setoti. We find ourselves, we are both appointed by the president. It is possible that if I am so self-aware of me, my limitations, my weaknesses, and he's aware likewise, we are able to actually collaborate. Not because, look, what took you there was not a partnership that you chose. It wasn't a marriage, so to speak. Yes. So it is for you to work a little bit harder, but you can only get it right if you are self-aware. Hence, the place of emotional intelligence in leadership for any leader today running an institution or working with people.
So it's never personal.
It's not personal.
It's business.
It's not personal.
Yeah, you have to work with the people you found there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, because we never choose with people whom we are working with.
And you don't know how long you're going to be, by the way.
And you don't know how long you're going to be.
By the way, was that ever a concern for any of you about not knowing how long your tenure will be? Was that a concern?
Midnight. You know, your contract.
I'll give you a joke which my former boss told us when he was inducting us, that is Mudaura. He told us, you know, in these jobs you are being appointed, either your name is read or not read. You have to develop shock absorbers. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Either your name is read or not read. So you don't know the time it will not be read.
And it is not your home, so
and it's not
going with the...
So, but that doesn't stop you from delivering what you are supposed to deliver. Yeah, because you got all the instruments and all the tools and all the technocrats, and you harness their talent. And I remember me when I went to, just to digress a bit, these regional development authorities. It was a ministry with this Tarda, Lake Basin, coast development, this ministry, those authorities were almost on their deathbed. So when again, you have to make a difference. And what did I do? I start with my staff, those guys whom I found there. And we managed to create new structures, even increase the remuneration. And up to now, they are still. I think some of the projects which we initiated and which will be game changer, although some of them are being politicized, things like Aror, they are good, but this politicization has been there. Yeah. But they are if they are implemented, they are going to be game changer in this country. That is Aror. And another one which is being implemented is the Mwache Water Dam. It's going for Mombasa. And another one which is, when implemented, will stop even this flood at the coast. The multipurpose dam of Highland Fall. That one, if it is done, it's going to be a big change, a big game changer. With 5 billion cubic meters of water. Wow. It's going to be a whole lake. And that one is going to hold all the water which is creating havoc downstream in the coast. All the way in Sabah. And at the same time, we use it for irrigation and then generate power, about 500 megawatts. Whoa. They are there. And this one was done by the staff who are found in that ministry. I just have to bring in other sectors, other relevant ministries to create those guys. So that's...
Jeff, everybody must really feel like the way you feel for your most precious projects. The money that you are spending, how can you take it the farthest by avoiding waste? Many of us, in government things, in Sicily. And that kind of concept is really a major problem. You don't see it like yours. Ask how much the money that I've been given, how can I make it finish this project? This project. Because the impact is big. The impact is big. And many people just do it impartially. They just waiting for the end of the month salary and they're holiday somewhere. It's very sad.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Very sad.
So I told you, moving forward.
Moving forward. Is that we have to look at all those aspects which make a country to move forward. And just as my colleague have said, if, for example, you are given money to put up your own house, maybe in Karen, in Syokimau, do you know you will make sure that that project succeeds? You will make sure that if it is the cement, you are buying it at the right price.
Yes.
If it is the foodies, they are actually working through the right way. So when you are also working for the government, make sure that you are actually, you develop that patriotism in yourself, such that if these projects succeed, it will turn around, it will change the life of so many people. And that is, just as my colleagues have said, one of the things that we have to develop a very good skill in this country, it is managing what we call mega projects, like dams, like the railway. When we manage those mega projects well, such that when we start that project, there should be no any scandal. Then as a country, we shall move forward. We shall even be like South Korea, like Singapore.
We keep saying that.
And we have more resources than they have.
Sicily Kariuki, you get the last word. You get the final word.
Yeah, Ma'am, Jeff, I think that I'm so very happy that the president has called his team to order early enough, 1 year before 1 year really is over. Yeah. It therefore means for me that they are going to actually pull up their socks. They will know that Kenyans are watching. They will know that they will be criticized when things are not going right. They know that at the individual level, it's no longer collective, individual level, they will have to shoulder the responsibility. But I'm also very glad to say with the signing of the performance contract, it means now they have an instrument against which they are going to be measured. So it's not going to just be noise, for the sake of noise. But then again, I want to remind us, any leader really called to any leadership position is playing the role of being a role model to those around you that you're serving with and those that are behind you in terms of, generational gap. And therefore, I think it is just good manners to express and portray good manners as if they're watching you. And if they're not watching you to see what you're doing, God is watching you. So I think it's right to do the right thing. And because Kenyans, we deserve better. We handed over the baton. We do think that from a point of incremental improvement, from where President Moi left, from where President Kibaki also did what he needed to do, what the fourth president did, which is phenomenal. I mean, we look at just what didn't work well, phenomenal. And I say that not because I was just part of it, but any time I'm on expressway, I am happy, you know. I don't spend the kind of amount of time that I used to spend. Anytime I'm going towards Mbwe and I pass through Mwea and I find 10,000 acres opened up for rice out of Viba Dam, I am elated. You know, it's a project that was designed when I was a PS in agriculture, came to fruition just as I was resigning from cabinet last year. And I mean, we have what it takes. We have the human resource, which is, I think, the most scarce in terms of seeing the vision and where we want to take this country. So we have what it takes. So please, 10 years from now, you have it. 5, if you choose, because, I mean, 5 will be here. Yeah. Will be here, and we'll, you know, you'll be measured against what it is that you'll have delivered. And but I think, yeah, the bell has been rung in very, very good time. You can redeem yourselves. That's what the president is asking you to do. Help him to redeem himself. Live to the commitment that you gave us. They were huge. And where they may not be met, come back again and explain. Kenyans are reasonable, yeah? But at least the minimum that needs to be done needs to be done.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yep.
Just one point here. You know, if you see what Kibaki did with declaring free primary school, and then people are wondering, where shall we get money for this? And 1 million kids who would have never gone to school, went to school. Some of them today are PhD holders. They are professors, they are doctors. Yeah. So everybody, when you are working with the government, is a privilege. How can you utilize that and leave a permanent mark?
Leave a permanent mark.
Yeah.
Gerson Ikiara, Sicily Kariuki, Engineer Kerry Oregi, and Saitoti Torome. Thank you so much, folks, for your insight and your inputs. Really appreciate that, and I hope they were listening. I hope your colleagues are listening. That's the least they can do is listen.
Thank you for giving us a platform.
Thank you for giving us a platform.
Thank you very much.
We're just the avenue, we're just the vessel.
So give a platform so that we can also express what we did.
There you go.
Some of them, you know, institutional memory is very, very important. And that's one thing they should know.
And they'll never
about
forget.
institutional memory within the dockets where they have. They have to exploit that.
Engineer, but do you say? You don't say.
No.
With Linda good too.
Yeah. Exactly. Thanks so much for being a part of JKLIVE, folks. Every Wednesday, it's all about those 3 letters on the keyboard that follow each other. JKL. Thanks so much. Good night. Good luck. God bless Kenya.